Hi folks, hope you're doing well. Yes, it's the 26th of November. It's 10 to 9 p.m. Indeed it is, yes. Right, okay. This video is going to be about the fact that, about the marvel of the fact that people get to choose. You get to choose your life. You get to choose your destination. Because you do. The decisions you make during your life decide where you end up. Not just where you end up, as in your position as a human, where you live, etc., etc., etc. Not just talking about that. That's the point. It does have an influence on that. Of course it does. Yeah. You want to be successful in life, your decision making is going to be the thing that's going to decide whether you are successful in life or not. That is a reality. You have to be the person to decide your life. That's why on your day of judgment, you can't make excuses. You can't say, oh, but my boyfriend made me do it. Oh, but my girlfriend made me do it. Oh, but it's my mummy and daddy didn't bring me up right. Blah, 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 blah. You can't make excuses. Because you, as an adult, get to make decisions. They're your decisions. You have to own them because they're yours. And God will help you to be aware on your day of judgment that they are indeed your decisions, that you own them. So it's best while you're alive, before you get to face that point, that you can understand that they are your decisions and you need to make better and wiser decisions in your life. Oh, you do. You really do. You need to make better, wiser decisions. Oh, dear. There are people who are digging holes for themselves as I speak, all over the place. There are people digging some nasty holes for themselves. You can stop. You can stop digging those holes. You can get out of it, and you can choose a different path. But that is for you to decide. If you want to live your life where you get to make every decision based upon your understanding, you're going to keep going wrong. That's the reality. You will keep going wrong. Because you can't see the picture. You can't see what direction you should be headed in. So when you try choosing your path, you haven't got a clue. You haven't got the foggiest notion whether you should be going to the left or to the right or straight on. You don't know. You can't see the picture. God can. So the Spirit of God can see exactly what you need to do. Can see how you need to respond to situations to make your life better. So it could be whether you say something or don't say anything this time, whether you do something or don't do it, whether you get up half an hour earlier today, or you go to bed half an hour earlier. Well, you choose to lay in, because that laying could be the thing that helps you to get enough rest and to be able to focus and deal with the things you've got to deal with today. Getting up early could be a problem for you. You don't know. So tonight you decide that you're going to set the clock to get up at a certain time. Well, let God decide that. Maybe let God decide that. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the first thing where God can be the thing that guides your life. Well, the one who guides your life, should I say. Yeah. Yeah. I did a video earlier. Yeah. Mentioning that one about not of this world, well, that was John 17. We look at not of this world. We look at of this world. Look at the issue of sin. As I said before, sin is like ivy on a tree. Now, when you give your life to God, it's like you get treated so that the ivy just falls off. Now, the more you build your relationship with God and get guided by God, the more the ivy can't touch you. But if you keep on inviting ivy to come onto you, you won't be protected against the ivy any longer. You'll be inviting it to infect you and to do what ivy does to trees, to kill you. That's what ivy does. It kills trees. It's not good for a tree. It looks good, but it isn't good. Now, sin to us can look good, but it isn't good. It's exactly the same as ivy. It suffocates you. It takes you in a direction that you really don't want to go into, leading to death. So, what was the greatest thing that the Lord did after he was crucified? He broke the curse of death. It was a curse of death, sin, basically. He broke the curse of that. He said, no. Now, I paid for all of that now. All of it. It's all been paid for. All the sins of every single person who has ever lived and ever will live has been paid for. Every single sin has been paid for. If they come through me, their sins are paid for. There you go. Job done. But it comes back to choice, doesn't it, really? People get to choose. And that is a marvelous thing, that people get to choose. Even the church, even once you get in the church, you still get to choose. You don't have to go down a certain path. You get to choose. But what that does do, it means if people en masse choose not to do things God's way, we end up in the situation we're in with regards to the church we have now. Because over decades and decades and decades, people have chosen to go further and further away from God's will. As I said earlier, it's devil-led. Because when you take certain scriptures out, when you say, right, we're not going to talk about, when the Lord talks about the vine, the branches, and those who do not bear fruit, we're going to skip over that bit because we don't want to talk about that. We're not going to talk about any consequences of sin at all. We're not going to talk about any consequences of not bearing fruit. We're not really going to talk about bearing fruit very much at all because, again, people might get offended by that. When you choose to go down that sort of path, you are choosing to ignore most of Scripture. And certainly a huge part of God's nature. You're choosing to ignore. You're choosing to teach that stuff doesn't exist. That isn't God. That's the devil doing that. Deciding that things should be taught that way. It's not God. God is not going to be deciding that his people should be taught 75% of the word. But then the other 25%, no. They don't need to know that. That won't be God doing that. That's not serving God in any way, shape, or form. That's serving the devil. That's serving the devil's will. That's producing a generation and another generation and another generation and another generation of Christians who aren't serious about the relationship with God. Which makes it so much easier for the devil and his, because they can continue harassing people left, right, and centre. And the church doesn't care. Because they're too busy being comfortable. They're too busy really on the road to hell, thinking that they're on the road to heaven. Because they went forward at one point and gave their life to God. They took it back pretty much straight away, but yeah. They gave their life to God a bit, didn't they? And that's what matters. But that's it. In the end, we get to choose. We have, it's like I was talking about celebrities earlier. You have a certain amount given to you. You get to choose what you do with that. Yeah, a lot of celebrities have an extreme amount of wealth. What do they do with it? Yeah, you've got people like Marcus Rashford, the football player, who's now buying big homes for himself. So he's got a huge amount of wealth. He's been talking about feeding the kids. Has he given huge amounts of money for that? No. Did he sell off all his houses to make sure that the young people got food? No. He talked about it. He went out and packed a few boxes, did that sort of stuff. But when it really came down to it, he has a huge fortune. He's making a lot of money. He's buying big, expensive houses. With money that when you listen to him talking about, must feed all the kids, you would have thought that by his talking, he'd be giving all that money to make sure the children got fed. But he's not doing that, is he? He got criticised, but he didn't get criticised for the right reason. He should have been criticised for the fact that he was expecting other people to feed the kids, when he really had the means available to him to make sure all the kids got fed. But certainly, if he had got his teammates and his teammates to do, not his England teammates to do the same, and their teammates to do the same, to give 25% of their yearly wage to that charity, the government wouldn't need it to have stepped in any way, shape or form. Wouldn't have been done. Because you're talking vast sums of money. Vast sums of money. It's crazy. And Lewis Hamilton as well. He speaks a good talk. But again, he gets paid an absolute fortune. So a lot of these people that are talking, they don't use their money to back up their mouth, do they? They expect other people to use their money to back up their mouth. And there you go. They have the choice. They can do that. They have been given a huge amount of resources and they get to choose what to do with it. Now, the reality is, it's not too late for any of these people to choose to do things the right way. It's not too late for any of these people that are rich and famous, including Marcus Rashford and Lewis Hamilton and all their mates, including people like Justin Bieber, including Pele and people with huge fortunes. It's not too late for those people to use their fortunes to do good. To give to those who are less fortunate. For them, themselves, to be the secret Santas of the future. It's not impossible for them to do that. It's quite easy for them to do that. They have the money to be able to do that. A lot of people are feeling sorry for the Pirates actor. I mentioned him before, where his ex-wife seemed to be the aggressive one, and yet he lost in the case where he was labelled a wife beater. It doesn't seem to be the case that he ever was a wife beater. It seems to be the case that she was a husband beater. That seems to be more likely to be the case according to the recordings of their arguments, where there was no suggestion at all from her that he had ever actually hit her. But she didn't deny that she had actually hit him. So how on earth that didn't actually help his case, I don't know. I think the judge was a bit peed off with the whole thing. But he's still on adverts. There was adverts for Dior aftershave, and he's still one of those adverts. So he's still getting paid money. He got paid for a whole movie for just doing, I think, about 50 seconds before they cut him out and decided that he was bad news because of this accusation. Because he'd been accused of being a wife beater. So they couldn't actually, even though they'd actually contracted him onto this movie, and they got him in to do a little bit, and then decided they didn't want him anymore. He won the contract to say that, they have to pay him for the whole thing now. So don't feel sorry for him. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money indeed. Again, he has vast amounts of money. Vast amounts of money. Probably around, he's had probably around about 400 to 500 million. It's about $500 million is what he's earned through pirates and the other things he's done. He doesn't need any more shows. He doesn't need any more movies. He's made his money. He's comfortable, to say the least. He could give away a fortune to a righteous charity that would help bless people. And it wouldn't be difficult for him to do so. But as I say, he gets to choose. That is the beauty of it, is that he gets to choose. People get to choose how they live their life and what they do with what they have. I was mentioning Maradona earlier, and again, he had the right to choose. What was he going to do with his fame and his fortune? He chose to have wild parties. That's what he wanted to do. He was seen by his country's people as a god. And did he choose to use that power that he had to do good? No, he chose to use it to get away with snorting cocaine at parties. That was up to him. He chose his life. He chose his path. He chose his destination. Wherever he is now, that's where he chose to be. That's the reality. That's where he chose to be because he made the decisions in his life. Nobody else made them for him. There would have been people that were trying to push him in a dodgy way to make money off of him. Of course, he's still got to make those decisions. He decided to have those people around in his life, quite likely because they were yes people. They were people that told him how wonderful he was. Even after he had stopped playing football and ballooned into a fat lump, they were still telling him how wonderful and gifted he was and how he could still be the best player in the world if he just put his boots on again, which of course was rubbish. He couldn't. So like today there was a chap called Rick, who's a Man United fan, whose channel is Football Philosophy on YouTube. Football Philosophy is his channel. He's an interesting fellow, but he did a video on Maradona saying he's the best player in the world, saying that the Argentina team that Maradona played in, that took him, that helped to take them to 2 finals, was pretty poor, apart from him. No chance. No, that team was pretty good. Yeah. But that's what people say. He was brilliant, but he wasn't that brilliant. He was good, really good, but not that brilliant at all. So, yeah, as I say, that's what people want to do. Want to say that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, indeed. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That will do with this one. God bless. Speak to you again. Bye bye.